Welcome students, and I am Ravi Shankar. Today we will be seeing the questions from capacitors regarding the competitive examinations, and one of the question is being here. Come on, go through the question. The capacity of a parallel plate capacitor is 5 microfarad. When a glass plate is placed in between the two plates of the capacitor, its potential becomes 1 by 8 of its original value. The value of the dielectric constant will be. That was the question. See, the capacity of a parallel plate capacitor. So let us consider the capacity of the parallel plate capacitor C as 5 microfarad. In case of a parallel plate capacitor, the capacitance is given by the formula. If it is having air medium, epsilon 0 into A divided by D. Now, when a glass plate is introduced between the plates, when a glass plate is introduced in between the plates means a dielectric slab, a dielectric called to be glass is introduced. So the potential decreases to 1 by 8 of its original value. So what is the concept when a dielectric is introduced? When a dielectric is introduced, let us consider it as C dash. C dash is then given by epsilon 0 into epsilon r into A divided by D, where the epsilon r is considered to be the dielectric constant. In general, we can say that this capacitance C is given by the formula Q divided by V. See, when the dielectric of some dielectric constant is introduced, the potential becomes 1 by 8 of original. So C dash will be becoming Q divided by V divided by 8. You are asked to calculate what is the value of epsilon r. Now let us do one thing. Let us take a relation or a ratio between these two quantities. If I am taking a ratio between these two quantities, that is Q divided by V by Q divided by V divided by 8 is equal to epsilon 0 into A divided by D whole divided by epsilon 0 into epsilon R into A divided by 8. On simplifying, you can get this Q by V and this Q by V will get cancelled. Similarly, epsilon 0, then here A and this D is also getting cancelled. So what else remaining? We can get 1 divided by. This 8 will go to the numerator. So 1 divided by 8 is equal to 1 divided by epsilon R. So on comparing, I can say epsilon R is equal to 8. So what is the value of the dielectric constant? See, the value of dielectric constant will be. So from this solution, it was found out that the dielectric constant is 8. If so, what is the answer? The answer is taken to be option number 3. So the answer is option number 3. Okay, let us move on to the next problem, problem number 2. Come on, go through the next problem. A theoretical concept. See, a capacitor is charged by using a battery which is then disconnected. A dielectric slab is then slipped or introduced between the plates, which results in. So from this concept, let us first of all discuss and then we will find the answer. See, a capacitor is charged by using a battery which is then disconnected. After charging, if the battery is disconnected, then the charge will remain constant. That is the first one. So we can say when battery got disconnected, so we can say when the battery got disconnected. Okay, when the battery got disconnected, charge Q will be same, or we can say charge Q will be constant. So the charge Q is constant. So okay, one thing. The second thing, yeah, after that disconnected, a dielectric slab is introduced between the plates. So we know the capacitance C is equal to epsilon 0 into epsilon R into A divided by D. If that is the case, we can say, see from this, we can say that the capacitance C is directly proportional to what? Directly proportional to epsilon R. That is the dielectric constant. So what will happen? Due to the introduction of dielectric, the capacitance increases. So due to the slipping off, due to the slipping of dielectric, due to the slipping of dielectric, we can say capacitance increases. Okay, this is the second thing. Then between the plates, which results in what else they have given in the answer means they have talked about the reduction or increase in charge, reduction or increase in potential difference, reduction or increase in energy. So I have to say what will happen to the potential energy. So what, sorry, what will happen to the potential energy and what will happen to the potential difference. If the capacitance increases, automatically the potential difference should get decreased, because we know that C is equal to Q divided by V, where Q is considered to be constant. The value of capacitance increases means then the potential difference should get what? Then there should be a decrease in potential difference. Since we can write like this, since capacitance C is equal to Q divided by V, to increase the capacitance, to increase the capacitance, because already we have stated that by introducing the dielectric, capacitance has increased. So to increase the capacitance, we can say the potential difference between the plates got decreased, between the plates got decreased. So between the plates decreased. Let us write it out in short. Then what is the next one? What will happen to energy? See, the potential energy we know. We know that the potential energy is given by the formula Q square divided by 2C. 1 divided by 2 into Q square divided by C, or we can say half into C into V square. See, using this formula, when you are considering potential energy is Q square divided by 2C, what will happen to potential energy? So the potential energy is also said to get what? Energy is also said to get decreased. Why? Charge is constant. Potential energy is inversely proportional to capacitance. So therefore, potential energy is inversely proportional to capacitance. Here it was given that the capacitance increases. If capacitance increases, automatically energy decreases. So we can say potential energy decreases. So let us go through it. What are the concepts that you have obtained by discussion? See, when the battery got disconnected, the first concept that I have got is the charge Q is taken to be constant. When I am introducing the capacitance, introducing a dielectric in between the plates of the capacitor, then I got that the capacitance of the capacitor increases. This is the second result that I got. Since the charge is constant and the capacitance is increased, then we have stated that potential difference got decreased. So this is the third one. Potential difference got decreased. Then what is the fourth one? Since the energy and the capacitance are inversely proportional, the fourth option that I can write is potential energy decreases. So out of the four, which option is related to this? See, the first one, reduction of charge. No, because charge is constant. So the first one is not the answer. Then the second one, increases the potential difference. No, potential difference is decreased. So this is also not an answer. Then what about the third one? Already we know. Fourth one, none of the above. This is also not the answer. So the answer should be the third one. You please check it out. See, decrease in potential difference. So potential difference decreased. Then reduction in energy, potential energy decreases. Then no change in charge. Yes, charge is considered to be constant. So the correct option or the correct answer is taken to be option 3. So I can write the answer for this question is option number 2. Hope you should have understood what I have dealt with this. Isn't it? Let us move on to the next problem. Problem number, come on, go with the third problem. The capacity of a condenser is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. And its potential is 100 volt. The energy released on discharging the condenser completely or fully is dash. See, it was given, the capacitance is given to be 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. The potential V is equal to 100 volt. What it is asked, what is the energy released? The energy released or the energy stored, or the amount of energy that was being stored in the capacitor is completely released during the discharge. So amount of energy released is equal to the amount of energy stored. See, we know the formula. Potential energy is given by the formula half into C into V square, or we can say Q square divided by 2C. Since C and V are known, let us use the first concept. So potential energy is equal to half into C into V square. So half into, what is the value of C? It is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6. And what is the potential of V? 10 square. So square is 10 power 4. So on simplifying, I can get, when I am cancelling this, I will be getting 2 into 10 power minus 2, or the answer is 0.02 joule is the amount of energy that was being released. If that is the case, option 1 is taken to be the answer. So I can write the answer is option 1. Option 1 is taken as what? Is taken as the answer. Okay, a simple problem. Let us move on to the next problem, problem number 4. Come on, go with the next problem, problem number 4. Two insulated spheres of radii, 20 centimeter and 25 centimeter respectively, and having an equal charge Q, are connected by a copper wire. Then they are separated. Then some 4 options are being given. With the given question, let us discuss and then we will go with this. 2 insulated spheres of radii. So first of all, I am taking the radii as one. For the first sphere is R1, which is 20 centimeter, and for the second sphere is R2, which is taken as 25 centimeter. Already in your theory, you might have studied, if you are having 2 spheres, and if the 2 spheres are joined with the help of an thin wire, then potentials are considered to be same. Both charge, that is, both spheres will have same potential, will have same potential when connected with a thin wire. When connected with what? When connected with a thin wire. Okay. So when both are connected with a thin wire, we can say V1 is equal to V2. That is, so this radius is considered to be R1 and this radius is taken to be R2. both are having the same charges. So potentials are same. Potentials are same means you might have studied sigma 1 R1 is equal to sigma 2 R2, or we can write Q1 divided by R1 is equal to Q2 divided by R2. So from this I can write how I can write, therefore I can write Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to R1 divided by R2. Q1 divided by Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to R1 divided by R2. If it is so, I can write this as Q1 divided by Q2 is equal to 25 divided by 20. So from this relation, I can say Q1 is greater than that of what? Q1 is greater than that of Q2. So which one will be the option? Both spheres will have the same charge. No, this is not the answer because it was given as Q1 is greater than that of Q2. Then charges on 20 centimeter sphere will be greater. No, charge on 25 centimeter is greater than that of the second one. So second one is also wrong. Charge on 25 centimeter sphere, that is the second sphere, will have or will be greater than that of the charge on the first sphere. Yes, the third one is correct. The fourth one automatically wrong because the charge on each sphere, they are not having equal charges. One is having a greater charge and another one is having a lesser charge. So the option or the answer is charge on the second sphere, which is having a radius of 25 centimeter, will be greater than that of the first sphere. So what is the answer then? Then you can consider the answer as option 3. So option 3 is taken to be your answer. Okay, let us move on to the next problem. Problem number, see, come on, go with the next problem. Problem number 5, a different problem. See, 8 drops of mercury of equal radii possessing equal charges combine to form a bigger drop. Then the capacitance of the bigger drop compared to each individual small drop is. So if that is the case, we can consider like this. The volume of 8 drops combined together is equal to the volume of the bigger drop. So let us take the solution like this. So when you are considering the solution, you take the 8 drops of mercury equal to of equal radii upon radii of, or I can say radius of small drop. Radius of the small drop, I can consider it as small r. That radius is equal to the capacitance of that drop. Then I can say radius of bigger drop. When I am considering the radius of the bigger drop, let us consider it as capital R. See, the volume of the bigger drop is equal to the total volume of all the 8 drops. So I can write volume of 8 small drops is equal to all that combined to form a bigger drop. So volume of the bigger drop, volume of the bigger drop. See, what is the volume of a single drop? Drop is in the form of a sphere. So the volume of one droplet is 4 by 3 pi. Radius for the small droplet is small r. So r cube multiplied. This is for one droplet. You multiplied it with 8, which will be equal to, again, the volume of one bigger drop. So volume is given by 4 by 3, then pi capital R cube. So on simplifying this 4 by 3, this 4 by 3 will get cancelled. This pi and this pi will get cancelled. So you can write 8r cube is equal to capital R cube. Therefore, what is the cube root of this R cube, capital R cube? So R, which is equal to, when you are taking the cube root, it is 2R. See, as the capacity is R, as the capacity of the droplet is R, then the capacity becomes what? Then the capacity of the bigger drop becomes, then the capacity of bigger drop is bigger drop is 2 times as that of R. So we can say it is 2 times as that of the smaller drop. If the smaller drop is having the capacitance C, which is taken to be its radius, then the capacitance of the bigger drop is 2 times as that of the capacitance of the smaller drop. So what will be your answer then? The answer is option number 3. So I can write answer as option 3. Okay, option 3. Okay, I hope you should have understood this. Let us move on to the next problem. Problem number 6. Come on, go with the next problem. A similar type of problem that was being given previously. There I have given 8 droplets. Here it was being given as 64 droplets. See, 64 droplets are joined together to form a bigger drop. If each small drop has a capacitance C, so if that small drop is having a radius of small r, then for that small r, the value of the capacitance, we can consider it as C. A potential V and a charge Q, the capacitance of the bigger drop will be. So let us go for the solution. See, here I have written an concept. R is equal to, this is from the last problem. See, from the last problem that I have dealt, from the previous problem. Okay, from the previous problem I have dealt, I have got an equation like this. The radius of the bigger drop is equal to the number of droplets that I have taken. For that, I have taken a cube root, multiplied it with what? Multiplied it with R. R means the radius of the small drop. I am going to use this because if the radius is capital R, that will correspond to what? That will correspond to the capacitance of the bigger drop. Then let us consider it as CB, bigger drop, is equal to, what is this small r? That is the capacitance of the small droplet. Then what is this 8? The number of droplets that have been joined together to form a bigger droplet. I am writing this is in general. If n number of droplets are joined, then I can write n to the power of 1 by 3 cube root of the number of droplets joined multiplied with the original capacitance of the small droplet will be equal to the capacitance of the bigger droplet. So I can able to derive a common relation for this question. So using that, I can write what I can write. The capacitance of the bigger drop, CB, is equal to cube root of, so 1 by 3 to the power. Cube root of what? The number of droplets that have been joined together to form a bigger droplet, multiplied it with the radius of what? The radius of the small droplet, which is equal to the capacitance of the smaller droplet. The capacitance of the smaller droplet, let's consider it as CS. Now what it is given? The number of droplets joined, N is equal to 64, form a bigger droplet. If each small droplet have a capacitance C, so capacitance of the smaller droplet is taken to be C. Then the capacitance of the bigger droplet. Let us take the capacitance of the bigger droplet as C of B, which is C dash. What is that value? For simplicity, I have written it as C dash. So take these values and substitute it here. Capacitance of the bigger droplet is C dash, which is equal to number of droplets that has been joined together to form a bigger droplet considered to be 64. So 64 to the power of 1 by 3 cube root of 64 we have to take multiplied with the capacitance of the single droplet is taken to be C. What is the cube root of 64? Cube root of 64 is 4 because 4 into 4 into 4. 4 into 4, 16. 16 into 4, it is 64. So cube root of 64 is 4. 4 into C. So the capacitance of the bigger droplet C dash is equal to 4 times as that of the capacitance of the smaller droplet. So the second one is the answer. Second one is the answer means I can write the answer is, what is that answer? The answer is option number 2. This is taken to be the problem number 6. Okay, let us move on to the problem number 7. Come on, go through the next problem. Problem number 7. A variable condenser is permanently connected to a 100-volt battery. So potential is constant. If the capacity is changed from 2 microfarad to 10 microfarad, then the change in energy is equal to. So let us go for the solution. What it is given. First of all, the potential is being given. Considered to be 100-volt constant. The capacitance changes from C1 to C2. What is the value of C1? It is taken to be 2 microfarad. Okay, let us keep it as like this, 2 into 10 power minus 6 farad, and C2 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. Then you are asked to calculate change in energy is equal to, if C1 is having, you are having what? A potential energy of epsilon 1. When C2 is considered, you will be having a potential energy of epsilon 2. So the difference or the change is asked. I can consider the formula for energy. In general, I can say epsilon, or we can get the potential energy is given by the formula of into C into V square. If so, epsilon 1, that is the initial potential energy, is half into C1 into V square. V is a constant. Epsilon 2 is half into C2 into V square. Since C2 is higher, U2 is higher. So I am calculating the change in energy. So the change in energy can be got, okay, by getting the difference. So change in energy is equal to epsilon 2 minus epsilon 1. So half into C2 into V square minus half into C1 into V square. So let us take this change in energy as delta epsilon. Taking common half into V square, I can get the formula as C2 minus C1. So change in potential energy equal to V square by 2. V is 100. So I can write 100 into 100 divided by 2. Multiplied it with C2 minus C1. What is the C2 minus C1? I can take like this, delta U equal to. See, when I am dividing, I will be able to get 50 into 100. So when I am dividing this, I will be getting 50 into 100, or I can write 5 into 10 to the power of 3. What is the difference? See, one is 10, another one is 2. So the difference is 8. Multiplied it with common, we can take 10 power minus 6. So on simplifying 8 into 5, I will be getting 40 into 10 power 3, here 10 power minus 6, you will be getting 10 power minus 3 joule. Or I can write it out as 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joule as the answer. So change in potential energy is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 2 joule, or this may be written as 40 millijoule. Like this also the answer may be given here, but in here the answer is given in terms of 10 power minus 2. So fourth one is the answer. So I can write answer is the option number what? Option number 4. Option number 4 is taken to be the answer for this question. See the problem number 8. The distance between the plates of a parallel plate capacitor is 4 millimeter and the potential difference is 60 volt. Now, the distance between the plates is increased to 12 millimeter. Then, when we are going through the options, they have given regarding the potential difference. So when the distance increased, what will happen to the potential difference between the two plates? That may be the question. So let us consider like this. The distance between the plates of a parallel plate capacitor. If you are considering the parallel plate capacitor, I can say the capacitance is equal to epsilon 0 into A divided by D is equal to Q divided by V. So if I am considering the relationship between the potential and the distance, potential V is directly proportional to distance. Here I am having two cases. If I am taking the case 1, then I can write potential V1 proportional to D1. Similarly, when I am considering the case 2, that is after the distance is being increased, let us take the potential as V2. V2 is proportional to D2. So if I am taking a ratio between these two, I can write V1 divided by V2 is equal to D1 divided by D2. See, what is the potential V1? It was given. See, in the case 1, the distance is 4 millimeter. This one, I can write it out as D1 and the potential difference. This one, I can write it out, consider it as V1. And this 12 millimeter, I can take it out as a D2. So on substituting, I can get the answer. V1 is taken to be 60 divided by V2 is equal to, what is D1? It is 4 millimeter. And what is D2? It is 12 millimeter. On simplifying, you will be able to get it out as 3. So when you are making a cross multiplication, I can write V2 is equal to 60 into 3, 180. 180 volt is taken to be the potential difference of the case 2. That is when the distance is increased from 4 millimeter to 12 millimeter, then the potential difference increases. How much it has been increased to? It has been increased from 60 volt to 180 volt. So the first option itself is the correct option. So I can write the answer is option number 1. Okay. Then let us move on to the next problem. See the problem number 9. On increasing the distance between the plates of a parallel plate capacitor, identify the correct statement. The correct statement is regarding electrical field and the potential difference. In the first 3 options, they have given their answer relating with electric field intensity. And the fourth one with potential difference. If you can able to get the relation for electrical field intensity, we can easily say about the relation with potential difference, because electric field intensity is equal to V by D. So by knowing electrical field intensity and the distance, we can able to calculate the potential difference V. So first of all, let us have a relation between or relation for electric field intensity in case of the parallel plate capacitor. See, if you are considering the parallel plate capacitor, see, on increasing the distance, this is taken to be the distance between the two plates. If the distance got increased, for example, I am taking it like this. If this distance got increased, what will happen to electrical field intensity? See, when I am taking the two plates, then I can state that electrical field in between the two plates, first of all. So I can write the electrical field between the two plates, So the electrical field in between the two plates is given by the formula E equal to, we might have studied using the Gauss law, application of the Gauss law, which is given as sigma divided by epsilon 0. Because in the capacitor, one of the plate will be having the positive charge and another plate will be induced the negative charge and other one will get earthed. So the electrical field in between the two plates is considered to be more or less uniform, since the distance between the two plates is very small. So the electrical field intensity from the application of the Gauss law, we know that electrical field intensity is equal to sigma by epsilon 0. How I can write? What is this sigma? Sigma is surface charge density, charge per unit area. So this sigma can be written as Q divided by A into epsilon 0. These two are the possible formulas for electrical field intensity in between the two plates. When I am considering this equation is not involving any distance between the two plates. So I can say the electrical field in between the two plates is independent of distance. See, if the electrical field in between the two plates is independent of distance, means by increasing the distance, the electrical field is never going to get changed. So the answer is the third one. The electrical field intensity between the plates is unchanged. So what is the explanation? From the above equation, it is clear that electrical field E, or we can say electric field intensity between the plates of the capacitor, or between the plates of a condenser, is independent of what? Is independent of the distance. Since it is independent of distance, or we can say E proportional to d power 0. Any quantity raised to power 0 is 1. So we can say it is independent of distance. If so, then we can say by increasing the distance, electrical field intensity never changes. If electrical field intensity is never changing, means then potential difference also never changes. So fourth one will also be a wrong answer. So the answer is the third one. So I can say the answer is option 3. Okay, the answer is option 3. Okay, let us go for the next problem. The problem: force of attraction between the two plates of the parallel plate capacitor is. See, when you are considering the two plates of a parallel plate capacitor, let us take like this. One of the plate is here and another plate is here. So this is the plate number 1 and this is the plate number 2. What it is asked: force of attraction between the plates. So the one of the plate will be experiencing a force on the other. See, in general, we can write the force that is acting on one plate by the other plate as, in general, I can write it out as Q into E, where Q is the charge available and E is the electrical field. What is the electrical field? It is not in between the two plates. If it is in between the two plates, we can write E is equal to sigma by epsilon 0 by using the Gauss law. But there is a formula which relates the electrical field produced by one plate at the location of the other. See, this is not given in your book, so we have to note it out. See, we should know that electrical field produced by one plate at the location of the other is at the location of what? At the location of other is given by the formula, given by E equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0 into K. Isn't it? This formula we should know, or we have to study. The electrical field produced by one plate on the other at the location of the other is given by E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0 into K. Take this value and substitute it here. Therefore, the force available F equal to Q into E. QE is sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0 into K. So is there any formula like that? No. But we know that. What is sigma? Sigma can be written as Q divided by A. Take this value and substitute it here. then you can write F is equal to Q into Q divided by 2 into A into epsilon 0 into K. So on simplifying, you will be getting the answer as Q square divided by 2 into epsilon 0 into A into K. So I can get the answer for the force in between, or the force of one plate over the other plate is given by the relation Q square divided by 2 epsilon 0 A into K. So the first option is taken to be the correct answer. So answer is taken as option number what? Option number 1. Hope you should have understood this. See, in order to study this, you have to know the formula, or you have to know this concept, that is electrical field produced by one plate at the location of the other plate is E equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0 into K. By knowing this concept, we can able to calculate the force of attraction between the two plates given in general equation F is equal to Q into E. By substituting in E, we can simplify. Hope you should have understood this. With this, let us wind up this session. Let us meet in the next session. Until then, goodbye and thank you from Ravi Shankar. Thank you.